have more money.
Hello again. Now, the outbreak of bird flu last year led to a shortage of poultry products. In response, government announced substantial rebates on the tariffs applied to imported chicken. The industry has described this move as short-sighted and ill-advised, adding that they are currently able to meet and exceed the country's poultry demand. Well, for more on this, FairPlay founder Francois Baird is joining us now live via Zoom from Washington. Good afternoon, our time. Good morning, your time, Francois, in Washington. What are you unhappy about? I've seen your statement. I mean, there was trouble last year for the industry. Things are seemingly normal now, but you've got these what you call an unnecessary burden in the form of subsidized import tariffs.
Correct. In fact, the government is irrational in announcing these rebates, which is really cancelling or nullifying import tariffs and anti-dumping duties, because it's the wrong answer to a non-existent problem. The industry itself solved the potential of a shortage. And in addition, the government is also not able, through this whole issue, to solve a pricing problem, when in fact there is an easy solving of a pricing problem. So there is no shortage of local chicken, but to solve the price inflation problem, it's simple. Make certain pieces, those chicken pieces consumed by poor people, VAT-free. Instead, the minister is going to have cause a renewed and unrestricted flood of dump chicken imports, which is devastating. We've seen that before. And in fact, there's both a short-term and a longer-term effect, and we have proven case studies for it.
So the minister we're talking about, the Minister of Trade, Ebrahim Patel, I guess. So we are saying that by imposing the subsidized imports of nearly every chicken product, you are opening South Africa up to dumping of product.
Exactly. And we know what dumping does. You know, according to a Poultry Association survey, by 2019, dumping has already contributed to the demise of about 47,000 small poultry farmers of their businesses. They stopped farming poultry. Now, what does that do? That causes people in rural areas not to have access to the meat that's consumed by 60% of South Africans, mostly poor people. They consume chicken as their preferred animal protein. There's health consequences. It causes stunting in little children, which is really starving our future. And now imagine what COVID and load shedding and avian influenza culling and inflation and the infrastructure collapse has already done to them since then. Now Minister Patel wants to effectively subsidize dumping again to finally ruin them. The worst is that he postponed the implementation of anti-dumping duties for a year, and it didn't do anything to price. It only caused more problems for local producers.
So what would be reasonable and the right thing to do in your view? What are you asking Minister Patel to change?
Well, Minister Patel should simply scrap this whole idea. It's a terrible idea. It's irrational and it won't work. Also, it's going to cause more trouble. It potentially could ruin the South African industry. And we've seen in Ghana what happened when you allow unrestricted dumping of product. They used to supply 95% of their own poultry. Because of the similar effect of dumping in Ghana, by 2017, chicken in Ghana was more expensive than steak in Durban. And they only produced 5% of their chicken. The rest was all imports. So what the minister is doing here is gifting importers fat profits, billions and billions of rands of profits at the expense of the local poultry industry. And remember the value chain. Poultry in South Africa is the largest agricultural sector. It consumes most of the grain and soya produced in South Africa. So the devastation could be really, really terrible for employment, for hunger in South Africa if the minister persists with this bad plan.
Are you going to be knocking on his door with an appeal besides talking to us in the media about this plan which you call bad?
We would not be the only people knocking on the door, although the minister hardly seems to listen to anyone other than the importers. But I think you will find that many of the trade unions, many of the political parties, even people inside the ANC, the minister's own party, will be upset by this plan, and rightly so, because this plan is not going to solve any of the problems that exist. It will only make things worse for everyone.
Thank you very much, Francois Baird. He's the founder of FairPlay. They're not happy at all about what Minister Ebrahim Patel has done. They believe that this rebate situation is going to favor the dumping of chicken on our market, and that will affect jobs and affect the industry that's been suffering just recently with that avian flu. Thank you very much for your time, Francois.